Uh-oh. Manitowoc. Indigo 900. Long harvest. Long harvest. And I was talking to the in-house guy. Data, real-time data, time and temperatures. We've got it fired up, and what he watched was that as she made, she would go into a harvest, and then my T3 and T4 wouldn't really spike up as fast as they should be, which feels like what, boys and girls? Harvest valve. So we are tapped into the system, our beautiful set of Testos, not remote, because I'm struggling to get these things. Somebody's gonna have to give me a lesson. They'll pair with my phone, but then they don't want to pair with this. And then one will pair with this, and the other, it's a nightmare. So, we're gonna wait for a harvest. It is making ice properly, he said. It makes a nice sheet of ice. Then it goes into a harvest, doesn't drop. About a minute and a half into the harvest, it starts running water over it, just like in our other videos. And so, I have gone through great distance and lengths to get this harvest valve. Have it in the van, so we are gonna let it run its cycle. And if I don't get a pressure drop, so when it goes into a harvest, these two should equalize at like 100 or 120. And if it doesn't, then you've got a bad harvest valve. That's what the Manitowoc tech guy told me when things finally came together with resolving this problem at the other two locations that were having it. So we shall see. Catch you when it goes into a harvest. 12 minutes. We should be, this is the end of the rain. It should be, ice is popping. That thickness probe should be tripping out for sure. The in-house guy, again, said it made a sheet of ice, no problem. But when it went into a harvest, man, we are running deep right now. Okay, boom, there it goes. Nope. Big problem. That should dive immediately to like 125. So, yep, confirmed harvest valve problem. And we can't pump this down because based on what I have to change right there, I can't trap anything in the system because of changing that solenoid. So, yep. Harvest valve failure. You saw what I saw, right? I shut it down and I hit turn on manual harvest, and we started a manual harvest. And it'll go. I had the same problem at the other store. It's still not there. This should be a little higher yet. But it'll drop this ice. So you've got an air pump here, which is working, pumping minuscule amounts of air behind it. You've got an energized solenoid, which is clearly. And you've got a warm discharge into behind the ice. Let's go back. Now let's look at real-time data. And T3 and T4, you have pressure, but you don't have temperature. So, still not going to drop. I know I skip a lot of steps. Quite often, but so I've got my gauges here, and I've got them open to the system so that I could torch and the system could open and vent and breathe. Right, so I've wrapped everything with disposable wet blue rags to protect all my wires. Right, now I've got a new thing of wet rag. I'm going to bury. It's funny that ice finally dropped. I'm going to bury the valve itself in wet rag putty, and then I'm going to wrap it with a physical wet rag. So there's the new one. All right, don't please don't. I just got my absolute butt kicked trying to get these set in there. I got too close. I blew a hole in the pipe. Then I had to cut off a piece of the pipe, and you can see it oblonged. Look at my disaster of a workstation. But, baby, we were holding pressure. I took the whisper to it because it's so ugly. Well, first I soaked it, and I actually couldn't believe that it, let's look at this. I couldn't believe that it held. I knew there would be a leak in it because that's the way it's gonna go today. But, it's good. So I put the whisper to it. All is well, no bubbles, no whisper. Let's get the vacuum, start drawing on this system. It's a remote system, so it's gonna take a hot minute. So a point of conversation is to make sure all your solenoids are opened up. Because, and I did that before I torched, because there was actually a little refrigeration stuck in that section of the line set. This location still has a pretty big gas leak over here. I told them about 2.5 weeks ago. 215 microns. I've been pulling, we're hanging out at about 200 microns. I think we're ready to go. Alright, 7 pounds in. We just started to freeze, our water just started flowing, so you're gonna see that change pretty drastically. Go. This way it's, so that word freeze will switch to harvest, timer will change, head pressure should cut immediately, and then the low side pressure should build. Bang, baby. Head pressure dropped immediately. Transfers to the low side. Sorry, pardon me. Exciting stuff going on. We've got a beautiful sheet of ice. We are sending hot gas behind it. Look at that. I told you. I'm not hiding it. This is the ugliest weld I've ever seen. Forget the ugliest weld I've ever done. That's the ugliest weld I've ever seen, but it's holding. So, I got beat down tonight. Absolutely beautiful. Beautiful, beautiful. Now we're 45 seconds into a harvest, right? We've got the pressure in the right place. You can see the air doing its work behind the ice. See little bits of movement. Look, see it? Money shot coming up. 3, 2, 1. It was so disappointing. She came and asked me for something right when it dropped the ice. Hang on. Alright, we just kicked into a harvest. I have unhooked my gauges. This is the third drop. I watched it drop 2. The first one that was interrupted. Then I watched it drop 1 more. And I wanted you to see. It's a little thick, the ice, but it's alright. 33 seconds into the harvest. Yep. You can see the air doing its work behind it. We're at 55 seconds of the harvest. One minute. Boom, baby.